A typical Nigerian and African mom doesn't take nonsense, Abby. So imagine my shock when my toddler is hitting me and I'm a first-time mom. I'm like, nobody told me about this. So like, hello, I'm not your mate. Oh. Is it me that you're giving me 500? Yeah. Oga, pack well, respect yourself. Hey, my lovelies. Welcome to Confessions of a New Mom with EseTalks. As a first-time mom, I never thought I would have to deal with my toddler hitting me. Whew. I need to calm down. I mean, this is just borderline abuse. Don't you think so? Ladies and gentlemen, I am not overreacting. If you're a fellow mom like myself, especially a first-time mom, you would know what I'm talking about and you can relate 110%. So I'm not being dramatic. I mean, the very first few times when my toddler started hitting me, the first time I was shocked. Then other times I was just angry, especially because their tiny little hands could be so painful. And there are times I actually cried. Oh, I remember this one time. It hurt so much. My baby actually slapped me and I got so upset. I gave her to my husband and I went to cry inside the room. Guys, why do toddlers hit? I mean, how do we actually curb this behavior to make sure it doesn't reoccur? Is there a right way? I don't really know. As a first-time mom, these are questions that run through my head over and over again. And if you're in my shoes, I'm pretty sure you ask these questions too. So in today's video, what we're going to do is explore the reasons why toddlers hit, why they have this behavior, to make sure we can curb it, nip it in the bud so it does not become a frequent behavior for them, and also why they have tantrums and meltdowns. And if you are a first-time mom like myself that was shocked by your toddler hitting you and wondering what to do because they won't stop, you have come to the right place. You are not alone, dear mom. So let's dig in and find out more. So guys, what I've come to discover is that toddlers often hit or bite, not because they are necessarily bad, but it's because they are still in the phase where they are learning how to interact with others, manage their emotions, and generally just communicate. And of course, we know that they have not formed their vocabulary. So sometimes when they get very frustrated, their go-to is just to hit or bite to draw attention, all right, or to communicate. That's what I've come to discover. And if I'm being very honest, when my toddler acts this way, I get really frustrated. And if you're a mom watching this, I'm pretty sure you can relate to what I'm talking about. A typical Nigerian and African mom doesn't take nonsense, Abby. So imagine my shock when my toddler is hitting me and I'm a first-time mom. I'm like, nobody told me about this. So like, hello, I'm not your mate. Oh. Is it me that you're giving me 500? Yeah. Oga, pack well, respect yourself. I know sometimes we might want to react that way, but of course they are kids. They don't even know what they are doing, right? Sometimes they do it and they even laugh. You're like, who's shining teeth with you? Am I your mate? Age difference. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Sometimes I do that with my toddler and she's just laughing. I'm like, you just slapped me and you're laughing. You just did this and you're laughing. I'm like, how? How does it make this make sense? Why don't they get it that this is not right? This is wrong. This is painful. It hurt mommy, right? So imagine a first-time mom acting that way. But I believe seasoned moms, experienced moms, this might not come as a shock to them. But trust me, as a first-time mom, till now it is still a shock to me. And I still get very confused or unsure of how to handle her when she behaves this way. Because trust me, it gets worse. And just wait, as I progress in this video, I would explain certain things I've had to experience when my toddler is having a meltdown, a tantrum, or is hitting me. But on a serious note, over time, I started to study my toddler's behavior and I began to understand that she's hitting me not because she wants to hurt me, but she's trying to communicate with me. She just wants to play, or she's trying to get my reaction, right? Maybe I'm distracted, I'm not giving her 100%. So I started to understand, okay, this is the reason why my toddler is doing this, is acting this way. But even at that, I can assure you it gets very exhausting. Dealing with a toddler is not an easy thing. If you see any mom, a toddler mom, give them a hug. We need it. We do. Because the kind of things our toddlers put us through is a whole lot. It's a whole lot. And it's funny how, you know, when they sing the praises of motherhood, and they never tell you, oh, when you get to the toddler phase, you almost run mad. Yes, so your toddler is gonna do things to you that is gonna make you feel like they want to drive you crazy. Sometimes I look at my toddler when she does something to me, I'm like, you can't drive me insane. I did not drive my mother insane. I get that dramatic. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but I get that dramatic on this my child, Omo. Because if I don't, well, it's well, guys. Let me continue this video. Let me not digress too much. Here are a few reasons why I think toddlers hit or bite. Number one, lack of communication skill. Big emotions they can't handle, testing their boundaries, learning social rules, seeking attention, imitation, and mimicking others, especially bad behavior. I don't know why. They also, yes, toddlers mimic good behaviors, but there are some certain things they see adults do or people around them, and they tend to mimic. So, like I said earlier, that toddlers can't communicate effectively. Of course, they haven't formed their vocabulary yet. So what they do when they seek attention or they want to communicate their need, they tend to do that. Especially when you're not giving them attention, right? They tend to do that, hit or bite. So like I said, it's not necessarily because they are bad at all. You might have a well-behaved toddler, and then when you're not, meeting their needs or not giving them 110% or 100%, they tend to act a bit nasty, right? And make you feel like, oh, what's wrong with this child? Why are you acting this way? Relax. This is just one of the many reasons. Then another thing, they have big emotions they can't handle. They are at that phase where they are trying to understand themselves. As a matter of fact, they are still babies. We call it the toddler phase, but they are still babies, so they don't even understand what emotions are. There's this thing my baby does. There's certain cartoons that I give to her that teaches her certain things, and there's one in particular where they teach emotions to toddlers, right? And so one day I discovered that my baby was in front of the mirror. We have this large mirror in my house, and she was in front of the mirror one day, and she was practicing certain facial expressions like anger, smiles. And I just stood in one corner. I was watching this little angel. I was like, hey, look at my little adult. Hey, I was shocked. Oh my God. And so over time, she started to put these facial expressions into practice. There was another time she was playing, and she was playing and she wanted me to play with her. But I can't remember the details, so let me not say what I did not see. I can't remember the details, but I know that she was playing or something was happening, and then she fell, and then she started crying, but it was a fake cry. Because I always know when my baby is fake crying. Sometimes she tries to blackmail me like that. Oh, this toddlers. So she was fake crying, and then she said, mommy, anger. I stopped in my tracks, guys. And I looked at my girl like, Mira, what did you say? She was like, anger. Oh my God. I was blown away. Because not only did she has come to the phase where she's mimicking what she watches, but she's trying to tell me that she's angry or she's upset that I didn't come and pick her up. Because most times when she falls, even when she's faking it, I come and like, oh, you got a boo-boo, let me see. I blow it, kiss on it, give her a hug. So I just knew she was faking, but I was busy at the time. I didn't want to give her attention. And so she was crying and she said, Mommy, you anger. And I laughed my heart out. I laughed so much. Then she stopped faking and then she started laughing with me. Not knowing why I was laughing. I was like, oh my God, these toddlers are interesting. They just do things that just blows you away. You're like, I love you so much. And the other times they just make you so mad, especially when they hit you, right? So I just want to explain that, yes, these toddlers are picking up things. So there's the tendency to mimic. So that is why essentially we must be very careful as adults what we do around these toddlers, because they're copying, they're copycats, they mimic, right? So we don't want to act in certain ways that we are teaching them things unknown to us, right? And they are picking bad behavior. So these are some of the reasons why they hit and they think it's okay. So picture this for me, guys. Just imagine kids that are raised in violent homes, right? Where they see the dad being violent to the mom or vice versa. Just imagine how that child is going to grow up. It really breaks my heart to know that there are certain children that grow up in such an environment. This is what the society is producing. So you won't even blame them when they grow up and they become beasts themselves. Because that's the only thing they've known. That's what they've been taught. So I'm telling you now that this starts from when they are children, when they are toddlers. That's what I'm trying to say. But enough sidetracking anyways. So still listing the reasons why I feel like toddlers hit. I said lack of communication, mimicking, they don't have control over their emotions. So these are one of the many, many reasons. And sometimes toddlers also hit because they are testing boundaries, right? They are that phase where they want to see how you would react. They want to know what's okay and what's not okay. So how you would actually react to your child's behavior is very important. And as I progress in this video, I'll share tips with you on how to react properly when your toddler is throwing a tantrum or is hitting or biting. And lastly, there's overstimulation and fatigue. Yes, this might be a reason why they hit or they throw tantrums, because sometimes when a child is overstimulated the whole day or they're so tired, they don't even know how to regulate their own emotions. So there are certain tips that would help. As we progress, I'll share them with you. Have you ever dealt with a toddler having a meltdown or a tantrum before? Guys, that is the day you will find out just how strong these toddlers can be. I've had to deal with my toddler's meltdown at home before countless times. And to be very honest, it took a whole lot of mental energy and my physical energy. It took a whole lot, trust me. And as a first-time mom, I've had to deal with my toddler's meltdowns before countless times, and it took a whole lot, I can promise you. I mean, just think about having to calm your toddler down. It's like these toddlers, sometimes you can't even reason with them when they're having meltdowns. It gets so hard. It took a whole lot from me, but eventually I get to figure it out. But sometimes, I'm not going to lie, the Nigerian mom in me will set the gentle parenting aside first, especially when the meltdown has become a tantrum. Yes, they are different. I set it aside first and I let her cry it out. When she's done, she has had her fill, I come to her, approach her, give her a hug, and then I try and have a conversation with her. Try and figure out what's wrong, how I can make her better. I just comfort her. That's me. I'm not saying that you should not. I'm just saying my experience. I'm sharing my experience to you guys. I'm a Nigerian mom, so sometimes we have to, do it the Nigerian way sometimes. If not, these toddlers will just push you to the edge and you will just break down yourself. You start crying. Some of the worst meltdowns I've had to deal with my toddler happened outdoors, actually. And some were when I'm driving, some when I'm in church. The worst I can remember vividly is one time I went out with a friend of mine, a fellow mom, and I was driving. I put my baby in the car seat at the back, and my friend's toddler was also at the back. My baby just kept crying. I was fed up. I made like 4 stops on my way because I was quite a distance from my house. So we were heading somewhere, so I had to make a U-turn and head back home because she kept screaming. She didn't let my friend hold her. She wanted me to carry her, and I'm driving. I'm on the highway, like, I can't carry you and drive. Like, first of all, it's wrong, and it's not safe, of course, for the toddler and also the mom. So I didn't even know what to do. I made several stops. I had to stop one time to get her something to eat. She refused, get her something to drink. It was a lot. I took her away from her car seat, put her at the back seat. She kept crying and screaming. Trust me when I say these meltdowns can actually be worse. Because for these meltdowns, you don't even know the best way to reason with these toddlers. At that moment, all they want to do is to be held. And I actually understand my toddler. I know at that moment she wanted to be held. So I just had to keep apologizing and trying to calm her down, make sure she hears my voice. I drove home as fast as I could, and I held her, baited her, make sure she was okay. And that was how she calmed down and she slept. Trust me, it was tough. Usually it takes longer when my baby is having a meltdown. It takes longer to calm her down. That is how hard it is to deal with these toddlers when they are just having their moments. Because why? They're trying to regulate their emotions, and honestly, you won't blame them. They're just babies. Essentially, guys, meltdowns and tantrums are very different, and understanding both of them, the difference, will better help you navigate your motherhood journey with your toddler. So let's find out what the difference is. A tantrum is a behavioral outburst in toddlers, and sometimes it has a goal, like getting a toy or more screen time, right? It is very important to make sure you don't reinforce this behavior. So you must set boundaries, clear boundaries, to make sure you don't reinforce this behavior. On the other hand, a meltdown is an emotional overload. Yes, your toddler is in distress. They're unable to regulate their emotions because they're at that stage where they're trying to figure things out. Of course, their brain is still in development, right? So they are unable to regulate themselves. So at that point, it's even harder to comfort toddlers when they're having meltdowns. So sometimes they just cry and cry and cry, and it gets very exhausting for the moms. And I have experienced this. It gets frustrating. Sometimes you may not even know what to do, and you want to join and cry. But it's essential to relax and be present for your toddler. Just hold them and give them time to cry it out. Hold them and comfort them and let them know it's going to be okay. That's all they want. Sometimes they just want your presence. Then when they've stopped crying, you can, feed them or bathe them, just whatever helps to make them feel more relaxed. Okay, so here are some tips that I've put together that can help you to curb the behavior of hitting and biting in your toddler. And this advice is also for myself, because I'm not going to lie, my toddler still hits me. My toddler still bullies me, guys. Okay, so number 1 tip, you must stay calm. Very important. When this happens, just take a deep breath and model a calm behavior. I know this is easier said than done. Even myself, I'm a culprit. When it started happening, I was not calm at all. I lost my mind. I'm serious. I'm a Nigerian mom. I was shocked. But so I'm advising both of us now in this video. Stay calm when this happens and try and model a calm behavior to your toddler. Number 2 tip, try not to give any big reaction. So this wonderful behavioral pediatrician, she said something that, when your toddler hits you, try not to give a big reaction or any reaction at all. I know it's easier said than done. She said you need to maintain a calm demeanor, a calm face, right? Because these toddlers are actually watching. They are watching to see if you get upset, if you will laugh. Because sometimes when they hit you, they will laugh or they will start to act funny or fake cry. They are watching for that big reaction. And I remember her saying in this video that don't give any big reaction. If not, sorry, let me finish it up. And the reason she said not to give a big reaction is because when you do this or any reaction at all, your toddler tends to want to hit more or do more of that, right? And I think this is actually true because I've experienced this. When one time my toddler hit me, and I was like, no, you don't do that. No, that's wrong. I had to frown and make her know this is wrong. I kept, reiterating on the fact that this is wrong. You don't do it. It's wrong. You're hitting mommy. And I remember she kept trying to hit me. She was attempting to hit me. I was trying to hold her hand like, Shebi, you're not hearing me. Is it not English I'm speaking? I said, don't hit me now. She kept trying to. So I think what she said actually makes a lot of sense. Like when you give this big reaction, they tend to want to do more because it feels like that reaction is you giving them 100%. Or I don't even know the science behind it, but I think it makes sense. If you think about it, it makes sense. When you react like, oh, don't do that, or you laugh or whatever, I think it actually makes sense. So I know it's easier said than done, but let's give it a try. It might work. So the next important thing to do is to set limits. Yes. Make it very clear to your toddler that once they hit again, you will drop them down. And you must follow through with these threats. I call it a threat. So, but as much as possible, do this with a calm face while maintaining same reaction. And you have to be consistent too. So it means that the next time your toddler does it, the next and the next, be consistent with this behavior. Be calm, set clear limits, and let them know, no, you don't hit mommy, you do that again, I'll put you down. And if they attempt to hit you, actually follow through with your threats. Put them down. This way you are teaching them boundaries. They're actually picking up that, oh, what they did is wrong. It's not nice and it hurts mommy, right? So the next thing you want to do is to show them a preferred behavior. Yes, show them a preferred behavior. So in the sequence of staying calm, trying not to give a big reaction and setting a limit. And once you see that they're still trying to hit you, attempting, you put them down and then you try to let them know calmly that you don't hit mommy. Preferred behavior, you tell them your hands are for clapping, your hands are for eating, and your hands are for praying. You're a believer like myself, right? Show them preferred behavior. Let them know that there are other things you can do with your hands. Your hands are for playing, not for hitting mommy, and it hurts mommy. So when you try and tell them these things and you keep doing it, reiterating it consistently, over time, you'll see the change in behavior. They will learn to, they'll begin to understand that, oh, okay, when I hit mommy, it hurts mommy. Mommy doesn't like it. Even if I want to play, I should play gently with my hands. Then try and demonstrate gentle touches, right? Gentle touches, calmly. Sometimes I tell my baby, if you want mommy's attention, you tell mommy, or you touch me like this. And I discovered that it was working. After watching that pediatrician's video, I discovered that these tips actually helped. I started seeing the changes in my toddler little by little. Then, of course, very importantly, praise good behavior. Praise positive behavior. When you see that they are adapting, they are, doing the right thing, praise them. Toddlers get excited when you tell them, good job, you're doing good, this is great. They love it. They love, you see this toddlers, they have ego, they have pride. So rub their ego, it will work for you, I tell you them. So very lastly, sometimes when toddlers get overstimulated, like I mentioned earlier, or they are so tired, it, you know, somehow leads to them having meltdowns. So you must try as much as possible to create alternative activities for them, like, you know, building blocks or activities that can just help channel their energy to something that will make their body work, right? So they don't get too fatigued or overstimulated, and then you have a full-blown meltdown in your hand. And trust me, that can just be very frustrating as a mom. So dear mom, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Now that you've heard the tips that can help you better curb your child's hitting behavior or aggressive behavior, I hope you can put these tips into practice like I have. Trust me, it works wonders. It will help. Just be consistent and be very patient with your toddlers. I know these toddlers are at a stage where sometimes they want to drive us crazy, but calm down. You got this, dear mom. You're doing so well. Thank you for watching my video. It's been EseTalks. Remember to like this video. Remember to share, okay? And leave a very nice comment. Bye.